What's up everyone, Josh here at Ohio Fish Rescue. We are at my house and what's through this door? You shall find out. So I've been teasing you guys with stuff that's coming up and let's just get right to it. So in here, yes, this is a big giant fish tank in my garage. Let me turn on some lights actually. There we go, that's better. All right, so we went to Columbus yesterday and picked this up. This is a 600-gallon aquarium. It is 8 foot long, 4 foot wide, 30 inches tall. This thing has an internal coast-to-coast overflow in it. The corners are all beveled and rounded. It is a very, very nice tank. The top of it, well, we have it buttoned up right now, but you know, it has 2 center braces on it, and of course the overflow box all the way down. The overflows are on top of the tank, which I do like that. That's how I like doing all of my tanks. So we will plumb in one of these for an overflow, and actually, the way this is designed, you'll be able to have water come in here. You could even fill this up with bio balls and have it with biomedia as well. This kind of goes in the center and splits off both ways. That comes in from the end and comes this way. So there's a lot of possibilities you can do with this whole setup here. The stand is solid steel. And as you can see, it is powder coated, super duper nice. And it has these supports in it. It is built way above and beyond. See the center braces there, center braces there. Every which way you look, it is overbuilt. The top has angle iron that the tank sits down in. There's steel bracing all the way across the bottom. And then the outside facade is actually steel as well. These are steel plates that are welded together, screwed in. And then this is thick sheets of steel. On the front side, you have these doors that also have latches that close, steel doors, and these lift up and come off as well. So this was a very, very nice stand, and it was done very nicely. But you guys are probably asking, where are you going to stick this beast at the rescue? You guys have that 1,000 that you're not really sure what to do with right now. Well, let's take a ride over to my dad's, and we will show you our plan. All right, guys, we got Joe from Their World Aquatics here. He came to pick up the piranhas that were in this bottom tank. They absolutely destroyed it coming out. They're going a little bit wild in this tank, but while he's here, he's also going to take the giant gourami that was in quarantine home. You see him here. He's probably about 15, 16 inch, but he is going to his new home along with the piranhas. So that clears us out this tank, and now we can bring that back on quarantine along with the rest of those tanks right there. All right, so as promised, we are back at the rescue. Before we talk about tank placement, let's give you guys a little update on the puffer. Where is she at? I just seen her. I always lose her in this tank. She kind of blends in. Oh, there she is, peeking out around the coral, and I come up to the glass and she's like, "Hi, Dad." Hi. Such an adorable puffer, and you guys can see nobody's getting nipped at or picked on, and she is being super personable in this tank. She is absolutely loving life. We're gonna feed her here in just a minute, but wanted to give you guys a little update while we go ahead and talk about these new tank placements. So we did pull her out of that cichlid aquarium because I was worried she wouldn't get the proper food. But in here, I can go ahead and feed her these proper foods that she needs, which involves, you know, meats and clams and stuff like that. And over here still gets pellets. I'm not sure if the puffer will eat the pellets, but it is possible. But she is looking great. This is Sir Fahoxalot. So another New Yorker here in this Bellagio aquarium. But let's go ahead and get on with what we want to do. So our plan for now, you guys know we want to move the Dwight Howard tank and put the 1,000-gallon back there. So the other idea we have we want to go ahead and take this tank out of here. So that's going to involve draining this out, moving these fish into different areas. And we're going to take this tank here and we're going to move it out into the pond room. So before it gets too dark and you guys can't see, but our idea is that is a 12-foot tank. So we could have it probably go from about here to about there. That's probably about 12 foot. And we can have the front of it come up and cover the front side of this edge of the lip of the pool. We could have to build it up because this is a slight incline here. Build it up to where it's flat, to where the front of the tank sticks over here, and then the back of the tank sticks over into the water. We can build a nice platform for it, and then this would also allow us to do this. We could have an overflow out of the back of the tank. We could pump water up from the pond, have it go through the whole dog bone aquarium here, have it as a nice added attraction into this pond room, not really take away from the view of the pond, and add, you know, a cool feature down below. We could probably still keep Hubert in that tank to have, you know, the whole touch tank going on. And then that would open up, we've got some activity in the pond. But that would open up some room in here for us to do something a little bit crazy. So my dad wants to drain this, move this over 2 feet, have a walkway through there. Maybe even 3 feet there, but that would then move this tank down. And now what we would have to do here to make this, you know, look awesome, drain this quarantine tank, move this tank completely over here, butt it up, because these are mirrors of each other. So what I mean by that is, you know, this tank is flat on this side, and then the right side is kind of rounded out. Well, the other 550 is completely opposite, so the flat sides would butt up against each other. You'd have this little V-notch here, and then you'd have this panel there, and then that little indent would be right there, and then followed by the rounded corner of that one coming off on this side. Now this would be a big long, you know, look like a big long aquarium like this, but they would be at the exact same height. And what this would really allow us to do is something really, really cool. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. All right, so before we get into that, you guys are probably noticing some water on the floor. That was because the tortoises got a bunch of food and they dropped their pellets into the water dish, and one of them clogged the overflow on their water dish here. So I got that all fixed, and I got the food plug out of there. They are eating their greens right now. They are messy eaters, but you can see some of the sand got wet. So we've got the heat cranking, and this will dry out in just a few hours being in this room. And so you guys are going to have to follow along and get a little bit creative with me, because this is going to sound a little bit crazy. So I know I mentioned moving that down 3 foot, putting these tanks back to back. Each tank is 9 foot 5 inches long. So what that would allow us to do is, basically what I want to do is build a large aqua bridge. We can have it, you know, built out of acrylic, and it basically just be a big giant U. So being that these tanks are the same height, it would have like a 3-inch lip to rest on here. We could have it come up maybe like a foot, and then have a bulkhead in the top with a valve that we can go ahead and suck the air out of the top of this aqua bridge and be able to you know, purge any air out of it if we want to. But then it would basically be a big U, and we could come down so fish could actually swim from tank to tank. And I think that would be a pretty cool feature. We could maybe even make it one of the larger aqua bridges on YouTube, and we could have it, you know, 3 foot wide or 2 foot wide, and basically have it roll from tank to tank. Now what this would actually do, it would serve as a equalizer tube in between the 2 tanks as well. So if we had filtration coming from the left tank, we could put the outlets over into this tank and basically have uniform flow through double the water volume and have the same pumps running it, and the water would constantly go through, bam, come back out. And then, like I said, if there's ever, fish or stingrays get under there and, create air bubbles in there, we could open this valve and suck some of the air out to where there's never an air gap that's locked inside this aqua tube. So I think that would be pretty neat. That would be something we'd have to work at and have the aqua bridge built. But I think that would be pretty neat. And that would leave this area over here open. So this is 9 foot 5 inches by 4 foot. So what we could do here is basically put that 600 right here. And we would be able to set it up and use that as quarantine. We'd gain 17 inches of room here, and that would be good there. So out here, if you guys don't remember, before it gets too dark, I will show you guys. But out here, we wanted to take the Dwight Howard tank, basically move it right where that tanning bed is against that wall, put the facade there. You'll have all the room in the world to be able to get on top and access it, maybe even from the windows behind. And then that 1,000 gallon that's sitting outside would have to go right there. We could set up that 750 right now, which I was talking about doing for the native fish, but I'm not so sure because that flathead might be able to eat the bowfins. And then that would leave us fixing this 500 gallon, which we have everything here to do it. We've just been so swamped. So once I get back from my vacation, if you guys didn't know, I'm going to Hawaii. But by the time you guys are watching this, I'll probably already be on a plane to Hawaii. After I get back from there, I'll be able to fix this 500, get that plumbed in. I'll have to plumb this into a separate overflow and a new pump going up to both the 1,000 gallon and this 750, and then returning back to the pond here. And that would also, if we get the native fish out of here, would open up for my dad to have koi all across there. So I think that could be pretty neat and give us some cool projects to show you guys on YouTube, especially this aqua bridge. We have been throwing around the idea of actually selling both of these tanks because they are twins. But if we sold them, we'd want to sell them both at the same time. I wouldn't want to sell one and then the other. So, we're kind of up in the air about that. If we did sell both of those tanks, what that would open us up to do would be put a 4.5 foot wide tank here. Maybe, what's this, 12 and 9. We could do 21, 22, possibly even 23 feet and come out to here. That's 9.5, that's 12, so that's 21. Yeah, we could do 22 comfortably. It would come out to about here. If we did 24, it would come out to here. That would be still cool, and we could have, glass panels on this side, have them professionally made, and that would be a neat thing there. But that's the only way that we would sell these tanks here. Or, if we're not going to talk my dad into it, we could expand this whole fish room on that back wall back another 16 foot. Have, these are 10 foot ceilings now. We could have probably 16 foot ceilings, which means we could have some awesome tanks up on some cool stands. Maybe even get the stand back for this 4400, which I know where it's at right now. It's sitting at my buddy's house. I could get that back from him and put this 4400 up on a stand, which would be really, really impressive. Or maybe even do our filtration back there and have more tanks up and going back there. But that's a discussion for another day. So I think that does it for today's video. That was pretty neat. You guys got some updates on the fish. And you got to know a few plans of what we're wanting to do around here. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more crazy adventures with the Ohio Fish Rescue, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, stay fishy, my friends.